now. Doug Gronke out of Section 2, Burn Hills High School. Scotia is his hometown. He's only a junior, and he's got a very, very tough opponent in Sean Welch out of Section 4, Waverly High School, 39-2. So we have a good matchup at 119. A junior and a senior. Gronke from 2, the junior on the left. Welch on the right out of Waverly, the senior. And Gronke, interestingly enough, has a twin brother we'll see next weight up at 126. And Burn Hills High School turns out a lot of good wrestlers, a lot of big freestyle program in that area. Right now, they both exhibit some good style as they go out of bounds. And you see Gronke's a tall 119-pounder, isn't he?
He is. He definitely has a few inches on Welch. But both are very physical wrestlers we're going to see throughout the match. They really take it to the opponent.
Welch, a football captain out of Section 4 in Waverly and an all-star in football. And right now, has his hands full with Doug Gronke, but no points have been scored. Gronke right there in the maroon, close. Incidentally, the officials for 119, Jack Fioravanti and Joe Rizzo. Fioravanti is the main official. Oh, you see Welch really looked like he hurt his left arm.
Not surprising, Dale. It's probably a pinched nerve. He's been stretched out, elongated a little bit too much. And when you have these guys, like I say, they're both very physical. You're going to have that happen quite a bit.
Call him a stinger. Is to get that,
oh, sure.
Get that electric pulse shooting up and down your arm, and they're going to start the injury clock. We'd like to remind you that tonight's championship wrestling finals, sponsored in part by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, locals 1922 and 1430. Our thanks for enabling us to bring this outstanding sporting event to the wrestling fans of New York State. And we do appreciate that. We'll see if we can see what happened to Sean Welch. They're looking at the left arm. As you said, very physical. Gronke and he have been tied up, no points scored, but he did shoot in, and it's the left shoulder, the one that's down, that got hurt. We don't know if it was here, but he did come up after this, favoring it, and we're back.
Gronke back in a familiar position, stretched out underneath, trying to get a single or double leg, comes up with nothing.
No score in this bout. 35 seconds left, first period.
Now Welch wrapping both arms. I think he's going to try some shrug. Doesn't get it. Does it again.
Tried it a different way. Went left and then a right. Still didn't come up with anything.
Great reaction by both wrestlers.
You see Gronke's height advantage right there when he stands up. As he stood up, he had that leverage.
That's right. That area with the Burn Hills High School, like you say, it has a great club out there with some international style wrestling. I think we might see some upper body throws here.
Right there, they were upper body. You're right. Welch looked like he might be in a little bit of trouble. The period's going to end.
That's right. We definitely see some upper body lockups. Now, I don't know if we're going to see a finished throw or not.
We mentioned international rules, that a lot of the freestyle and the Empire State Games and the international type rules a bit different from the normal high school rules, and you get guys who take part in those, and a lot of these guys do, John. You're going to see some of that carryover. Right now, we're starting second period with Gronke on the bottom. He stands up, superior height, but Welch takes the leg and goes out of bounds. Nice counter by Welch.
Sorry, Welch did the right thing, dropped down on the leg, kept control, kind of waltzed out of bounds with it, didn't want to give it up for the 1 point escape.
Switch attempt by Gronke. He gets those long legs out, but waist control by Welch, throws a leg. That controls those guys a little bit, maybe.
Certainly slows them down a little bit. But now he's got another leg in.
Short leg on a long leg, sometimes it's tough to lock it up.
Now he's really arching. He's doing a super job just controlling. Gronke's not going to go anywhere with a double leg ride and Nelson throwing on him. you stand up rather slowly with that type of move on him.
You can see, you're right, John. He's got him stretched out. He's got to keep that head or he'd be up too high, and he could lose some points, but he's keeping that head, and he's trying to work for, we're going to call potentially dangerous, I'm assuming, or a stalemate.
Wait for the official call, but it is a stalemate.
So you see, he was working for the pin, but it took a little too long, and they had a stalemate. But he was yarning on that. A little false start by Gronke, I think. Nope, official said it was his fault. He'll get him set.
I'm sure Gronke wants to get off the bottom as soon as he can. He doesn't want those legs thrown in again.
Last time he waited, he got into a little bit of trouble.
And he seems to be in trouble again. Welch again with the legs in.
Slows down the pace. Welch got the legs.
It gets interesting here now. Welch on top really was working at half Nelson, but he's got to really open up, get some pinning combinations, or he's going to get called for stalling.
Well, he hoped that when Gronke kind of kicked through there, he might be able to catch him, but he couldn't, and now he's getting up real high, John. But he's really got the head. There's not much Gronke can do.
Head.
Yep.
That's right.
Gronke fights up.
But he really should get out to the side in order to get not called for stalling.
We're going to see another stalemate. And you know, if that's not your style, in other words, if Gronke is not used to that happening, that's got to be frustrating. You see the clock ticking down, and there's some guy on top of you trying to take your legs north and your head south.
Yeah, when you're 36-1, there's not a lot of guys that were sitting on top of controlling them this year. This is a whole new ball game for him.
Whole new experience, and I think
not one he likes.
Right, and how you react to it, it really is important. And right now he stands up.
The thing is, he's got to remember, he's not down by any points. It's 0-0.
That's right, and there's 27 seconds left in the second period. Not a point has been scored. I think, though, he got a little bit of an advantage there on Welch because he almost got up, and Welch was kind of desperate. He went to the crotch and kind of pushed him out of bounds.
And the referees will watch that. If it happens again, they'll call him for stalling or give him the 1 point.
Good move by Gronke, and it always looks like Welch is on the edge of disaster with this. He's got 15 seconds left, as you can see.
But this was the same position we were in all first period. Neither wrestler is in real trouble of losing points or getting points.
Welch is strong, boy. He's got that double on that knee, and he is not letting it up.
The funny thing is, he's not working up on the leg, and the official let him sit down there for about 15 seconds.
He's very strong. Sean Welch doing a nice job of taking Doug Gronke and kind of negating any kind of advantage he might have in height or being on his feet as he just kind of rode him out. You get no riding time in high school wrestling. They do in college. He would have racked some up, but right now he's got to get out in the bottom, and Gronke is working, got a crossface in hard.
Very long on top, but really got a good control, upper body. Looks like he's moving for a far cradle.
Looks like he almost
had it, lost it.
Lost the head
he's
first.
All over.
Welch, that's going to cost Welch a warning right there on the bottom. Of course, there's not. I don't know what Welch can do. He's going to get hit for one in a second.
No, I'm surprised the stalling was that quick because remember just the other period, Gronke was down below with both legs in for the whole period, and they get called.
Welch has got to hope he can get out of bounds and get back to a neutral, not a neutral position, but a position where he's got some control. Right now he does have no control, and that's going to give him an opportunity, I think. He better get away from Gronke.
We're seeing Gronke just as tough on top with the legs as Welch was.
Right. And
if we get into a stalemate like this, it's 0-0 overtime, then criteria with no points scored is going to get pretty involved to find out who's going to win the match.
I bet you we have some points scored before this period ends. Gronke is
going out on a limb, are you, Dale?
Yeah.
All right. Could be. Let's see.
I'm looking for an escape.
Pretty close.
Oh, or an illegal
all over.
What was it?
I think it was out of bounds, and he's just showing that Gronke still has a top position. Green on top.
Interesting. 52 seconds. He tells Gronke to get on.
You have a lot of pressure, Dale, on both wrestlers, but you also have a lot of pressure on Ed Fioravanti, the head official.
No leg yet. He breaks him down. Gronke breaks him down, looking for something to get some back points. Tied up the arm, but nothing. 40 seconds.
He's got that one arm again. He's riding the crotch for that far cradle, or picked Welch up for a turn, but ran out of real estate, out of bounds.
These guys are evenly matched. This is with no points scored, it's still a great match to watch. Gronke once again on top out of Burn Hills. Sean Welch on the bottom, no score. Interesting strategy. Welch tries to switch.
Gronke there to counter. Great step over. Almost had it.
It's got him in
now
trouble.
Gronke's got that leg in, and if he can elevate and get some type of head control, and he lost it, that's very close. He's so long. He's really pushing that half Nelson.
No. What great wrestling. Welch did a super job. Pulled the neck, switch, step over. And I'm wrong.
It's the first time in a lot of years, Dale. We'll forgive you.
Zip, zip, right. Thanks, John. Nothing at the end of regulation. And that is interesting. Wrestlers will take a short break.
That's one of the most exciting 0-0 matches I've seen in a long time.
You wouldn't think that was much, but we're going to get a look at this on a replay, John. Gronke on top, and he just looked like he had him on the edge.
Just at both ends. He's tying up the legs. He's moving on. Now he's stepping over. He'll come up to the top. Arm control, doing everything he has to stop Welch from getting his 1 point, take this match into overtime. Got that leg scoop. Now he's working for the half Nelson.
Watch what Welch
very
does.
Close here. Very close.
Watch what Welch does. Watch him get out the side and pull his neck up. Right there.
Oh, he just took his arm and threw it forward.
And then came back up. Boy, he is a tough kid. Both guys really have done a good job.
Again, trying that switch. They were very close to the time running out.
We're going to go to 1 minute. We got 2 1-minute overtime periods. 3. Check that, right. 3 1-minute overtime periods. And there's a whole section of criteria if they're tied at the end of this. We'll see. Right now, they go right back at it. 3 1-minute periods in the overtime. And first one to score is Welch. He gets a takedown. He's going to throw the leg.
All familiar from the second period.
Three 1-minute periods. This is the first.
Now he's throwing that double leg in again.
He is really working the head of Gronke.
Gronke trying to get leg control, trying to get those legs out. Not elevating like he should, but
stalemate. So the first points, which is one of the criteria somewhere in that list, and a takedown is scored by Welch. Gronke up, an escape in the offing. Double leg, he gets right down on the leg. Welch does of Gronke, and Gronke tries to sit through it. Nothing.
That's right, Dale. You mentioned the criteria. That's number 9 on the list. And we want to say thanks to Bill Doran for keeping us abreast of the changes last year as well as this year on the rules.
We're going to go right back at it. We'll get into the criteria if we need to, but it is a definitive yet somewhat complicated list. Right now, Gronke is on top, not in score. He's down 2-0 in overtime to Welch. Welch took him down. You can see Gronke's superior height as he takes Welch to the mat. As far as stamina, I'm not sure who's got what left. But there's, as you said, John, there's nothing left, right? In terms of
at this point,
can't save yourself.
Stamina isn't there. It's all adrenaline right now, and it depends on who runs out first. Take a look. They're both tired, but they both want to win.
38 seconds left. It's been a great bout, as you said. One of the most exciting 0-0 regulation bouts we've seen. Right now, it's no longer 0-0. It's 2-0 in favor of Sean Welch out of Section 4. On the bottom there, man attempting a switch, stepped over by Gronke.
Obviously, Welch's first move from the bottom, successful throughout the year, has been a switch. He hasn't been able to execute it properly today. or at least in this match.
We're going to give a point to stalling point.
Stalling point to Gronke.
Stalling can hurt you in the...
Okay, we're going to have to check this list one more time.
Right now, as they get set, we're talking about this list. There is a, if at the end of the overtime they're still tied, there's a referee's criteria list which determines who wins, and there's different valuations for things like takedowns, stalling points. If it's not tied, it doesn't make any difference. Right now it isn't, but Welch was hit with a stalling point. He gave up one, and that's the man who's down by 1 point right there, Doug Gronke. Stand up by Welch. Gronke throws a leg.
Shouldn't get the 2 points.
Gonna get 1
point. He will get the 1 point.
That's it. 3-1. That's the end of the second period.
I got to believe Gronke's going to want to be up in the third period here for a takedown. He doesn't want to be down. And he will start the third period up. In for a single, switches off to a double, in deep, he's got the long lead.
2! That's it, 3-3. What a match. 42 seconds left, and they're tied with 42 seconds left in this bout.
Just to throw a wrench in here if it does remain a tie.
We'll be right back with the result of this match right after this. All right, 6-3, Welch on top of Gronke, and Gronke getting desperate. You can see the clock winding down. It's been a great bout in overtime. Welch, Sean Welch out of Waverly, got to be considered the underdog. What a bout.
Super finish.
In overtime, 6-3, Sean Welch out of Section 4, New York State champ, 119 pounds. What about, John? 0-0 at the end of regulation.
Yeah.
Just a super comeback, and
totally surprised. I'm kind of I'm looking at Rule 6 on here. Wrestler with a penalty, the opponent would I think Gronke would have won the match. I'm not sure because
he let him up, gave up a point, but time waits for no man, John. We got to move on to 26.